I'm excited about our session today with our next guest, and I will give him an opportunity to introduce himself. Go ahead.
Hey, Chuki, good afternoon. It's Chris Polaszek. Thank you for this call, for this interview. You can see I'm still in my car. I'm bouncing in between meetings. So I am the Chief Legal Officer for Bluma Wellness, which is a holding company that operates as one of the medical marijuana licensed companies in the state of Florida. Also am managing partner of the Polaszek Law Firm. I'm an owner of a professional athlete training center, Diesel Fitness, that I just came from, where we've got maybe more professional athletes that are training there on a regular basis than any place in the country. So doing a lot, the law firm practice. I am a securities fraud class action lawyer by trade. I've been doing that for a long time. But rounding it all out and together, most of my day is spent as in-house chief legal officer and corporate secretary of Bluma Wellness.
Yeah, Chris, I'm absolutely inspired by your entrepreneurial excellence across so many different facets and projects. So let's get into that, right? Give us a sense of the impact that you have with all the different stakeholders that you manage.
So I'll talk about being in-house at Bluma Wellness. It's a really interesting position to hold. Having come out of the litigation world, right? I'm not a transactional lawyer by trade. I hopped into the wellness, CBD, cannabis industry a few years ago. And 5 years ago when I jumped in, everybody was saying, don't do it. Don't do it. This is crazy. There's too much uncertainty. And frankly, I'm glad that I did. I was able to get exposure to so many different practice areas, the investment banking and capital raise component. I also spent some time on Wall Street in equity research a long time ago, but I've had the ability to create, a legal department and best practices. We took the company public on the Canadian Stock Exchange in June. That was fantastic. And yeah, thank you. And about 10 days ago, we announced that we had reached an agreement with one of the large multi-state operators to sell the business. And I think the valuation was $213 or $215 million. So stakeholders, wow, you've got obviously the shareholders, right? We talk about internally about our fiduciary duties. I have the board that I report to. I have the chief executive officer as well. And then our patients, right? In Florida, we provide medicine to patients. So one of the things that I like about being in-house in an emerging market is that you have the ability to shape strategy and direction and focus on all areas, because inevitably the companies in the space are on the lean end, because it is a very difficult business to operate in competitively. Right. And so stakeholders run the gamut from patients that walk in. I always think that employees are the stakeholders as well. The most important people of the organization are the people that keep the organization going. And those are the folks, in the dispensaries and in the grow and everybody that's involved.
Absolutely. Yeah, to pick up on a couple of the points that you touched on there, just this idea that you effectively set up the legal department from scratch. And you've touched so many aspects of the legal landscape, Chris. I mean, it's a really admirable set of accomplishments. Specific to one key stakeholder, which is outside counsel. Given that you've been in-house and you've also been on the outside looking and supporting clients, what are some recommendations, Chris, that you have to improve the relationships between outside counsel and in-house attorneys?
No, great question, Chuki. And it really is an interesting dynamic when you go from being a provider of legal services, right? Whether I was at a big, I've been at a few national law firms and then having my own practice, you're called upon to do the impossible at times. You're called upon to meet and manage, unbelievable deadlines. And you have this client first focus, and then you flip the switch and suddenly I'm the one that's reaching out to outside firms, and we have terrific relationships with several of them. The relationships that really have flourished with me are the outside lawyers that are, as diligent and prompt as I am. If you call me, if you text me, if you email me, I sort of demand a very prompt response, even if it's, hey, I can't get back to you right now. Things are moving so quickly for everyone in 2021, but when you're in an industry such as ours that's changing intraday, it seems like sometimes, depending on the shift in public opinion or what's going on in Capitol Hill or in your state capital. So the responsiveness is critically important for me, and that comes with a baseline assumption that there is an incredible mastery of the particular subject area. If I'm reaching out to a real estate lawyer or a regulatory lawyer, I mean, it's got to be clear to me in the first couple of minutes that this person, he or she is an expert, subject matter expert. And then you build in the other expectations of, prompt communications. And I guess the home run lawyers that I've worked with in terms of bringing them in and hiring them and working with them continuously are the ones that, they've figured out a way to anticipate where the hockey puck is going, right? It's not just the issue or the problem of the day that I've called them for, but it's an awareness of sort of the macro trends that are out there and also the micro issues that might be happening at the company. So to maybe put something on my radar, hey, we're doing this right now, but I'm taking a look at potential legislation that may change the way that we're doing things. Maybe we should touch base. Maybe we should circle back. I appreciate all the updates that I get. If there's something, in the industry, a newsletter that is relevant and on point, yeah, by all means, send it to me. I will look at it. So, those are the three things. Summing it all up, a subject matter expertise is sort of a foundational piece, very, very prompt response time. And then the third is to try to think ahead of me, right? And come up with ways to add value that I might not even know about. So.
Yeah, Chris, that's spot on. This point about anticipating a client's need is really the bedrock of good leadership.